Hi, I'm Minette Rushing, owner of Custom Cakes in Savannah, Georgia, and today I'm going to show you how we prepare the bottom tier of a styrofoam cake. I live in Savannah and it's really hot and humid in the summer here, and if there's going to be an outdoor wedding, really the best thing to do is to use a styrofoam cake instead of a real cake. But I still like to have the bride and groom cut the cake for their picture, so I put a little piece of cake in the styrofoam, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. All right, here's the bottom of the cake, the styrofoam, and I have it on its cake board or cake drum. And the first thing I'm going to do is to center the styrofoam on the cake board. I'm going to use my little ruler and make sure there's 1 inch clearance all the way around. And there is, so I think we're centered. Okay, I'm going to use my pencil and just draw a line around the styrofoam. Okay, now I have the styrofoam centered on the board. The next thing I'm going to do is center the next piece of styrofoam on the bottom piece. So we'll do it the same way. All right, this is centered. So now I'm going to mark where I want the cake to go. And we really don't need a big piece, just enough for the bride and groom to cut. So I'll mark it here, and then I know to go in this far. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the board. Just put this on my table. I like to use a small sharp knife and make my initial cut. Okay, now we'll take the serrated knife and hopefully go all the way to the table. All right, let's pull it out and see what we've got. Okay, that came out pretty well. All right, to adhere the styrofoam to the board, I'm just going to use some hot glue. All right. Now it's going to be easy for me to line up because I've got the circle drawn. Okay, so we'll just press it down and give it a minute to stick. I'm going to use some piping gel and paint my space and get it ready for the fondant. I'm going to put some, you'll see we'll put some fondant over the cut styrofoam. So hopefully the bride and groom don't end up with any styrofoam in their cake cutting. All right, I've rolled a piece of fondant, and that's what we're going to use to cover the cutout. And the piping gel really holds this in well. Let me take my palette knife and trim off the extra. We'll trim it right up to the very edge and down the sides as well. All right, now we're ready to place the cake. Next, I'll use just a small amount of buttercream. And this will help hold the cake in place. And I'll smooth it out with my little spatula. It doesn't have to be pretty, you just want it to be there. It'll act like glue. All right, we're ready for the cake now. I'm going to use frozen cake or almost frozen cake because for me it's easier to work with on this application. And we'll just take a piece, cut it, and then basically we're just really wedging it in and placing it into the buttercream. Okay. A little more buttercream. Let's see, this cake isn't quite long enough, so we'll get another piece. Cut this. Okay. And really push it in so that you know it's in there well and that the buttercream is holding it. I think one more slice will do it. Just a little bit more buttercream. Okay. All right, next we'll use our knife and make sure it's even with the cake or the styrofoam, I guess. Okay, and that looks really good to me. So we've got the cake in and it's solid and it's the same size as the styrofoam. A thin coat of buttercream goes on next. All right, that looks smooth to me. So what we'll do now is stick this in the freezer so that the buttercream has a chance to firm up just for a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll cover the cake with fondant. All right, we've covered the styrofoam and the cake insert with fondant, and one of the things you'll want to make sure to do is to roll your fondant a little bit thicker than you normally would if you were covering a cake. So to cover it in styrofoam, cover it just a little bit thicker. Now to mark the areas where our cake is in here and here, and to mark the area, what I've done is just put a couple of little dots. Depending on how the cake is decorated, if it has flowers on it, I may come back and just put a little flower here and a little flower there. This is the back of the cake. And I always take a picture of it and text it to the wedding planner so she knows where to tell the couple to cut the cake. All right, let's cut it and see what it looks like. See if we can get it out. And there you go.